All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are joined by Jersey Shore's own. That's right. We got Turn 2, a phenomenal pop punk band right here live on the 99.9 FM airwaves. Guys, how are you doing tonight all the way out there in New Jersey?
Doing well.
Great,
Doing
man.
awesome. We're so happy to be here.
I got to say, the feeling is definitely mutual. It's such an honor to talk with all four of you guys tonight. We were just talking briefly about how I think you guys are a legendary pop punk band. Honestly, I love your guys' music. We're going to be talking about the EP during this broadcast, but I just got to say it live. You guys definitely have phenomenal chemistry. I'm super excited just to hear and see what comes next from Jersey Shore's own Turn 2.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
that's kind words.
But I know you're a busy individual, so of course I'm not going to take you away from your Tuesday night too long, but I got to take you back to the beginning of the formation of this band. And you guys actually have a very interesting story because it's one of those stories where two bands kind of came together, and it's New York and New Jersey. On With the Punches and, of course, Count to Four came together to form what we are now know right here as Turn 2. But I have to ask, what is the story behind that? How did these two bands come together to form this band?
So I play drums in With the Punches, still do on occasion when we play, but so With the Punches kind of, we did our thing for a really long time and then ended up being kind of a more so dormant, right? From around 2012, 2013, after we put out our full-length record. Didn't really do much. We played some shows here and there. We released another EP a couple of years back in 2022, which was really fun too. But as far as like full-time touring band, we weren't a full-time touring band anymore, So essentially, like I have spent the last few years trying to put together something to kind of scratch the itch that was left without With the Punches, being an active band. So Matt, to my right here, has been my buddy for a really long time. Plays guitar, has played guitar for a really long time, and we kind of got together and was like, we love the same kind of music. Let's do something, right? Let's get this going. So he and I formed what was the original iteration of Turn 2, and with another individual, ended up being kind of didn't work out the way we planned it to, recorded some music, never actually got it out there. Ended up being one of those things where it kind of, it felt like it was almost going to fall through, and kind of kept persevering through it, said, hey, even though this has been not working out the way we wanted it to, we're still going to try and make it work. So, again, we wrote a bunch of songs, and then my sister, her friend Pete, got in touch with Mike here, who is now our singer, who is friends with Pete, and essentially told him to message me on Instagram because I was looking for somebody to sing and play guitar in this band. And then sure enough, Mike, he messaged me on Instagram. The rest is history. We got along pretty well and got together a couple times, and it ended up being really, really fun, awesome. We gelled pretty well, and then ended up needing the last piece of the puzzle, and Mike brought in Mason with him, and that is what we call Turn 2 at this point in time.
Yeah, and then from the other side of the puzzle, Pete was he's the drummer from Count to Four. So after I left Count to Four, after touring and putting out Between Two Cities and stuff in the early 2010s, we kind of went our separate ways for a little bit, but me and him always were really close, and we're still best friends, still talk as much as we can, and so him connecting us was actually a really, really cool thing too. And like I said, it's just been kind of perfect. We've meshed together really, really well. And then Mason, I brought into the band after I ran into him after he saw me screaming for my life on the Fanavision screen at a Phillies game. And he was in an old prog band with one of my other best friends, and he was looking to play around and stuff too. So I said, hey, do you want to come down off your ivory tower of Prague and play some pop punk music with us? And, thank God he did, because he's just such a handsome human being. Look at him.
And Shane, I got to ask as well, because I do know when you were actually talking, I briefly spoke about With the Punches. I have to just mention one of my favorite albums you guys actually did was, I believe it came out in 2012, called as Seams and Stitches, man. Such a phenomenal album. It's a very early on project, but literally one of the best pop punk projects I've actually got my hands on in a long time.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, you're most certainly welcome. I had to bring that up because I do know, obviously, this is a turn 2 interview, but I had to just throw a little bit of like very early With the Punches shade in there, man, because I just had to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he meant like favorite pop punk record before Turn 2 started. I think that's what he meant.
Hey, Shane, shh, it's okay. But no, we also got a fan comment here from Mitchell as well. He actually said, we hope that Matt smiles because we love him.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, look at him.
But also as well, because I know you guys came together and you guys have been doing some phenomenal things as Turn 2. But you guys obviously have a history within pop punk, so obviously, you know. But November 29th, 2024, the long-anticipated 6-track EP titled Darkest Days actually dropped to the general public. I got to ask, what is the story and inspiration behind this amazing record?
I mean, me and Shane have been friends for, 20 years, and I've been watching him play in bands whole life, and I've had that itch, never really got to be in a band. And a lot of these songs I was writing for some of them as old as 10 years, and just got a lot of inspiration from the bands I listened to early on. A lot of melodic punk, a lot of old school pop punk, stuff like that. And when With the Punches kind of stopped touring as much, he, like you said before, he had that itch, so he just came to me and we tried to get this band together. You know, we had everything recorded. It kind of fizzled out and sucked the life out of us. And then we found Mike and Mason and just brought those songs to life. And I didn't think they'd ever come to life. And when Mike put his vocals on there, it just changed everything.
Yeah, and for me, it was really cool working with Matt because usually, like in Count to Four, I would bring songs to the group and they'd all kind of like put their own kind of spin on this kind of like skeleton that I would bring to them. So this was an instance where I was taking these songs that Matt had written and putting my own spin on it, and I think it worked out really, really well. I ended up making some changes to make the songs a little tighter and stuff. Medicine was the song that I had been sitting on for a while that I was able to bring to the band, and we thought that it kind of fit right into. But in terms of as like a lyricist and writing lyrics for these songs that I very graciously put on my lap by Matt and Shane. I think the EP itself is about kind of what we've all experienced with really struggling, pulling through, trying to scratch that itch of making music such a part of our lives, and that we've all experienced these different kind of darkest days. But one of my favorite lines in the EP is the darkest days can bring the brightest night. So it's really about how you change your perspective and hopefully make some changes in your life to really bring out that brightness and make sure that not every day is a darkest day.
And I have to say, my favorite song is actually one of the singles that actually dropped. It was your debut single, Symptoms of Silence. Honestly, I love the meaning behind the song. I love the melody. Loved absolutely everything about it, man. I just had to bring that up because I love punk rock music, obviously, of course, but I do love punk rock music that actually has substance and meaning. And Symptoms of Silence literally has nothing but a phenomenal meaning behind it.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. And I want Matt to talk about this because this was a song that we almost didn't put on the EP originally, but this has been his baby for a while, so I'm going to let him talk about it.
Yeah, man. I've been working on that song, at least musically, for a very, very long time, and it's just like it goes with the theme of darkest days. I was writing it in times when life was just a little rough, and it just helped me get through a lot of stuff. And I brought it to Mike, and I was just so critical of everything. I didn't think it was going to work out. I didn't think it was going to sound the way that I wanted it to. And literally from the second he just put the first vocals on it, it just brought the song completely to life and better than I ever could have imagined it. So it was just really awesome to hear that.
Yeah, we all wanted that to be the song that we put out first. We thought that was our best foot forward, and it just kind of gave you everything about us. Big melody, fast drums, big sound. We just thought it was the perfect kind of representation of what Turn 2 wanted to be.
It's got a lot of everything in it.
Yeah.
And before we move off the topic, of Darkest Days, where can we actually snag ourselves a copy of it today? Like, do you have the hard copies available, or is it strictly only online streaming services?
For now, we're only on live streaming services, but we hope to, in the future, possibly put out some maybe vinyl, something like that. Or I don't know if people still like CDs nowadays, but we can we can accommodate some stuff.
I'm thinking maybe
I know
8
people like
tracks
to
too.
stuff.
Like we really lean into this kind of like physical media thing and start putting out some
Hey,
cool
with the
movies
Punches
now coming
put out
back out on
cassette tapes.
VHS. So yeah,
But the Punches put out cassette tapes at one point, so I wouldn't put any of that old fun physical content out of the realm.
yeah,
But
but
for now,
it has something that we have discussed. So definitely keep an eye out for some announcements on our Instagram.
Yeah,
to see if we
absolutely.
get some physical pressing soon.
But hey, Mike, I noticed you briefly mentioned VHS. If you're gonna do a VHS release as well, you gotta go beta as well, man. You can't just do VHS and not the beta. You gotta go
right.
all out and do everything.
Don't worry, Tom. I got you. Yeah, I'll take care of that.
But also, aside from the debut EP, you guys also recently took the stage for your very first show as the band Turn 2 at Hype Fest. It actually went down December 7th, so exactly 10 days ago. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this show, and of course, what was it like just sharing the stage with other phenomenal punk rock bands? Because the bill was absolutely phenomenal. So many amazing bands.
yeah, Mason, you want to talk a little?
It was. I mean, honestly, it was a really good time. I'm sure it's the same for the guys here, but that was the first show I had played since the pandemic. The band that I was in kind of fizzled out, like just before everything kind of shut down. So playing that show definitely scratched the itch that's been needing to be itched for the last 4 years. I think just looking back at some of the pictures and video that were taken and seeing the smiles on all of our faces, I think that really says it all. I know for me, I'm already going through the Rolodex of things that I did wrong. I missed that harmony, or I missed that note or something, but none of that really mattered in any way because I was on stage with my friends. I think that was like the biggest takeaway, when I was driving home.
And we've been friends for almost 2 years now. So we've gotten to know each other. We've been writing music. We've been practicing in rehearsal spaces, but like nothing really compares to that first time that you're actually on stage with your pals and seeing kind of what they're like on stage too. So something for me that was funny was in Count to Four, our bass player Neil, me and him would literally like tell jokes the whole time while we were on stage. So there was a bit of a banter, like back and forth kind of aspect going on to it. And then when I got up stage, I'm looking over at Matt and I'm looking over at Mason. I'm like, who wants to tell jokes? And they're like, absolutely not, none of us. So. But it was great. I thought really finally playing with everybody, it just felt right. And I'm usually pretty critical of myself whenever I play shows, and I thought that we did a really good job. And we did get to play with some really amazing bands that day. We've been making some slow connections through social media with a bunch of different bands, especially on that bill. So. And I know Shane also knew a couple of the bands we were playing with, so I'll let him talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Sonic Spin Media put on Hype Fest. Chris, who runs it, is super awesome guy. He plays in a band with a friend of mine, Rob, called Round One Fight. They played. They're awesome. Just good people, Great bill, great people, great venue. I mean, Clemson Brewery, they set up 2 stages there. Legitimately, we were just going back and forth, half-hour sets each band. Once one band ended, another band started. So really cool. Again, bunch of really, really wonderful bands, fun times, good beer. I mean, there's not a lot more you can ask for,
And also, we have a fan comment from Aubrey Hayden. She said, wasn't there a dog that went kind of viral on your guys' TikTok? And if that is true, tell us a bit more about the dog, because I got to admit, I didn't get a chance to see the dog video.
That is fair. So before we had even released any music, we were putzing around with some TikTok while we were in the studio, and somebody took a video of I would bring my dog to the studio every day. Her name is Blink. And she's the cutest little adorable dog. Go check out our Instagram. You'll see pictures of it. Her and her brother have her own Instagram called The Adventures of Blink and Hiccup. But I brought her into the vocal booth one day to try to get some sounds out of her so that we could like, bury him somewhere and layer him into a track. And so what we did was I picked her up to the microphone and we had one of the assistants knock on the door, and she gave just a little tiny like boof and a growl, just a little like who is that? And so we recorded that and we took this video of it. And I remember we put it up just to have something to put up before we even had songs. And it within a day blew up to like 110,000 views on our TikTok. And so, which was something we had never, ever even expected at all. But that little growl actually, when the beat drops in Symptoms of Silence right before the guitar solo, that we call it the growl drop. So that little growl she has in there is just laying a little layer right under the drums to give it a little bit of a punch. So I like to think that my dog Blink is basically the front man of this band. I don't know. I should probably go get her. You probably have a lot of questions for her. But that was something really funny and unexpected that just one of our dogs took off on TikTok for one of our songs. So that was pretty cool.
I would, but I don't think I speak canine. My translator is currently not in the studio tonight, so I mean, maybe next time, I guess. But I got to say, phenomenal dog, a phenomenal name you chose for your dog as well. Is that a subtle Blink-182 reference, or is it just completely coincidence that your dog's name is Blink?
So she's gonna be 10 this year, and the adoption agency actually named her Blink, and I kept it number 1 for Blink-182, and number 2 because at the time I was watching Doctor Who, and I just for the first time, and I had just watched the Blink episode, so I was like, this is a perfect name for a dog. So it's cool. It fits my pop punk personality and my nerdy personality pretty well.
And going back to just the topic of being on stage, you guys actually have a miniature 3-day tour coming up starting January 11th, where you'll be hitting the road with fellow punk rock bands Sinking In. I was wondering, how did this opportunity actually come to be? And of course, what cities are you guys going to be hitting? And of course, tickets as well. Where can we snag ourselves some tickets?
So the run is actually 3 days long. Again, like you said, with a band Sinking In. 2 of the 3 dates are actually with another band called Sleep In. Sleep In is actually a band that Mike's friends with. Actually, Neil, who played in Count to Four, is the bass player for Sleep In. And then Sinking In are some of Mike's friends also from. They're a little bit more hardcore. They're like a Comeback Kid-esque type punk rock band from Connecticut. And so we kind of collaborated through Mike, and we're all like, hey, we want to do a couple shows, couple gigs together. How can we make this happen, right? So each of us took kind of a date, and then I took the New Jersey date, which is going to be at Asbury Park Brewery on Thursday, January 9th at 7. It is a completely 100% free show. So there are no tickets. Just show up and you get in. But music will be from 7 to 10 p.m., and there's a bunch of good bands on that bill. It's us, Sinking In, Halogens, who's also from New Jersey, and then Straight Jacket Feeling, who's also from the Asbury Park area. So us 4 bands will be on that first gig in Asbury Park on Thursday, January 9th. Then we play at Ortlieb's in Philadelphia on Friday, January 10th. That's going to be with Sleep In and Sinking In, and then another band called Tonks. That's going to be a super fun show. I've heard Ortlieb's is a really cool venue. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a really cool little cozy dive bar kind of vibe venue. And then on Saturday, January 11th, we are playing at 33 Golden. I believe that's what it's called, Mike. 33 Golden.
33 Golden.
In New London, Connecticut. Again, with Sleep In, Sinking In, and then another heavier band called Motherwell. And tickets, I don't know, Mike, are tickets available for those?
So Ortlieb's, you can get a discounted ticket if you buy in advance. I'm pretty sure you can do that through their site. Keep an eye out on our socials, and we'll post info for that. But if you go to the Ortlieb's site, they should have some information about getting advance tickets. But we're really, really excited. It was a thing that came together where it's just 3 bands that were really good friends wanted to get together and make a little run out of it. And definitely go check them all out too, because they're all just incredible bands.
And also as well, I do know that your EP just dropped recently, but 2024, excuse me, is almost over. We have just a couple weeks left until we venture into 2025. So that being said, are there any plans for new Turn 2 music in 2025? And if so, has the early stages already been being planned, or are you guys just focusing completely on touring and doing shows in the new year?
We've got some things in the works, and it's fun now because it's the first time where actually me and Mike and Mason, everybody can write together. I know we have a lot of songs that we had in the bag already, but now that we are a formed band with new music coming out, we've got a lot of things in the works. We're practicing, we're writing. Probably looking towards something maybe the end of the year, but nothing set in stone yet.
Yeah, definitely want to play as many shows as we can, but also work on new music because we definitely want new music to come out at some point next year. May not be early next year, but we're definitely going to put out something new at some point next year.
I think me and Matt got together a few months ago and and Shane kind of made an inventory of like all the songs that we've had kind of written by ourselves, or ideas that we had written by ourselves in our hiatuses from different projects and stuff like that. And we have a good amount in the bank. We've already started kind of honing our list into certain ones that we want to focus on. And it's really cool because a lot of these are just ideas. They're not fully fleshed out. Some of them are, but it's cool bringing everybody else in on some ideas that I had, 4 years ago, during my Midwest emo phase, and seeing how we could, make them a little more straight pop punk and a little more aggressive and stuff. So we're definitely going to be making some new music next year. Some ideas have been thrown around about a brief some acoustic versions of some songs that we might be putting out at some point. But yeah, as of right now, we're all set to go, and we're playing shows, making music, trying to make the best out of this band because we're all loving it.
And also, I have to ask, aside from the mini tour you guys are doing, the brand new EP, 6-track EP that just dropped, that I have to say again is totally a rad record. I have to say that again. It never gets old because I'm telling you, this is a phenomenal EP that you can play front to back or backwards to front. It's unskippable. But I definitely encourage people to go stream it if you haven't heard it, and if you haven't streamed it, I don't even know why you're still watching. I mean, just leave the interview now and go listen. But aside from all that, what is next for Turn 2? Is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you guys still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here live on 99.9 FM tonight.
Canada tour.
Yeah, we're coming to see you next. I think one thing I'd like to talk about is we put out a bunch of music videos this year as well for Medicine, Polaroid, and Symptoms of Silence, and we also have the lyric video out for Darkest Days that we put out during the release. The music video for Medicine is actually in the horror festival circuit right now. I'm a horror filmmaker. It's something I do in my spare time. So as of right now, it's in competition at the London Liftoff Festival, which you can go online, look it up. You can take part in the festival, see a bunch of really, really cool shorts, and you can even vote and vote for Medicine, obviously. But then we also just got accepted to the Thing in the Basement Horror Fest I think it's Seattle, Washington too. And I have a bunch more in the can that we're putting out there. So I think that's something that's pretty exciting that we're still pushing all these videos and stuff. We're going to be pushing them for a little bit until we get some new music out. But definitely go check out our YouTube channel, please, and all of the videos that we have on there.
Yeah, Mike put a lot of time and effort into those music videos, and they were really fun to make. So hope everybody enjoys them as much as we enjoyed making them.
And while I'm live, I want to give a shout out to Gwen Hamlet as well. She said, "Yes, Canada, please." I have to give a shout out because I don't know how, but she watches every single interview I ever do. It's almost like she's on that YouTube like a barracuda. So I got to give her a shout out. But and also I wouldn't mind seeing Turn 2 in Canada. So I mean, it kind of works out both ways. Give her a shout out and kind of give you guys a nudge to maybe cross the border into the Great White North.
Hold my arm.
Like, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I remember Count to Four back in the day did a little Canada run, and we stopped at not to make it's a bit of a stereotype, but we went to Smoke's Poutineery. I don't know if that's I think it's a bit of a chain up there, and we didn't know one from the other, right? But so we're just like, oh my god, poutine! They put cheese curds on fries. That's awesome. And so a few years ago, they opened a Smoke's Poutineery on South Street in Philadelphia, which I live right outside of Philadelphia. And so I force all of my friends to go down there and be like, I had this in Canada. This must be legit, even though I'm pretty sure it was a chain routinery.
Well, it's the same with Tim Hortons. We finally got a Tim Hortons in South Jersey, and anybody I talk to from Canada, they could give to. I don't know if I can cuss here.
We're uncensored, definitely. Say it
okay,
out.
cool. Well, they could give two shits about Tim Hortons, but for me, it's it's way better than Dunkin' Donuts that we get here. So we stock up on coffee. We get a dozen donuts and whatnot. So I feel like when I was up through Montreal, Toronto, and the drive from there, I was hitting as many Tim Hortons as I could. So to get back up there and get the true source would be fantastic.
I gotta say, I always wanted to try Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, I was in the States once or twice just to go shopping. I hit up a Sonic and everything, but I did not catch a Dunkin'. But now that you're saying Tim Hortons is better than Dunkin' Donuts, I'm kind of like, man. Now I'm kind of glad I didn't waste my money, because don't get me wrong, Tim Hortons is good. Timmy's is good, boys, but
I'm a bit addicted to Dunkin'. I'm not gonna lie, I do like Tim Hortons better, but I'm a bit addicted to Dunkin'. So when you come down and visit, I'll be sure to take you #1 to Dunkin' Donuts.
I cannot do the Dunkin' coffee, man. I can't. It's not.
It's not it. Doesn't do it for you.
It's not it for me.
No.
I'm the same way with Starbucks. So I know I'm totally going left field. We're going through every coffee joint now, but I find Starbucks coffee is gross, man. I don't know. It's like $4 for burnt coffee. It's obviously not burnt, but it tastes burnt.
You got to get the veranda blend. If they're making the veranda, shut up. No, Mike, shut up. If they're making the veranda blend, if it's available to you, you get that. Don't get the Pike Place. It's a blonde roast. It's all right. It's good.
I'm a tea kind of guy, so I can't contribute to this.
I'm telling you, when it comes to Starbucks, I don't even know what a venti or a grande crap is. I'm just like, give me a large coffee, And they're like, so a grande or a venti. I'm like, yeah, whatever it is, whatever the biggest is, just give me the damn coffee.
I have to beg them at the register. I'm like, don't make me say it, please. Just give me the smallest of whatever it is. I don't know what number it is, but just give me that one.
I feel like one day, man, I'm going to turn into Paul Rudd from Role Models. Where he's just telling the woman off, just being like, look, it's a venti grande. Congratulations, you're dumb in 2 different languages, or something like that.
The best part of that bit, though, is that his girlfriend goes, call it venti because it's 20 ounces. And so he gets really mad.
Yeah.
But before we get too off topic and just go over and do a whole interview of coffees, I really think that could probably actually be a podcast bit.
Let's get weird. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to ask, guys, before we get too weird, how do we go about following Turn 2 across all social media platforms? And, of course, your guys' other bands and, of course, individual social medias, if you guys do want to give that out and let all the fans kind of follow you guys individually.
No, make them work for it. Don't
You gotta find us.
They gotta cash app you a few bucks to get the private IG,
Can we actually get our name off of this YouTube thing, to make it really hard on everybody?
I will admit, you should have told me that about 28 minutes ago exactly, and then we probably could have made it happen. But unfortunately, she's been out there for 28 minutes. They all got your names.
Oh well.
But we do have a Linktree that people can visit, and I think the handle is Turn2Band, all spelled out TURNTWOBAND. And that's also the handles for all of our socials. So if you go to TikTok, it's all spelled out Turn2Band, Instagram Turn2Band, Facebook Turn2Band. But if you go to that Linktree, which is in our all of our profiles on any platform, you can go to our Spotify page. You can go to our Apple Music page. You can go to our YouTube page. We usually post links for tickets and stuff for shows, or I'm going to be posting some information about the film festivals that you can take a look at and stuff. But if you go there, you can do that. We haven't really talked about actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because Shane, his handle is Shane WTP. And we had a big band fight about this the other day, because Turn 2 is now the mistress of With the Punches in the world of Shane Instagram handles. And
I started that Instagram page when I was in With the Punches, and I don't need to change things around, right? It's tried and true. People know my Instagram handle,
There's no hard feelings, bud.
Hey, I put my Turn 2 in my bio, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Hey,
maybe that's
as
something we'll
long
put
as
out
long
there.
as it's in the bio, man. As long as it's in the all I'm gonna say is as long as it's in the bio, my opinion is I think it's gonna be all right, you know. But hopefully, you know what I mean. Maybe one day you'll make the jump to turn 2 and actually just put Shane turn 2, you know.
We all
I got-
for a single tier of.
I'm trying to be neutral here because it's literally gonna be probably about like 2 against 3 here. So I mean, the odds aren't even for me and Shane. So I got to just have the evil. Just gotta have the even level here, you know.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You need somebody on my side.
But I gotta say, first and foremost, Mike, Matt, Shane, Mason, thank you guys so much for giving not only myself but the radio station airwaves and your fans a bit of your time, man. It was such an honor speaking with you four. Hopefully, down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, have yourselves a phenomenal night and week, and of course, holiday season as well. I'm pretty sure we definitely shall talk again here soon.
Thank you so
Definitely.
much.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you having us. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Hey man, the feeling is mutual, guys. It definitely was an awesome time chatting with you. But again, thank you so much again for your time, and we definitely shall chat here again soon.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right,
one,
see you
guys.
soon.